All right, everyone, another thread coming at you from Carlos Oswida at COswida on Twitter. It's about the John Kelly speech today. If John Kelly actually said these things, he's totally misrepresenting Trump's positions. Kelly made clear, this is a quote from the speech, Kelly made clear that Trump indeed conditioned military aid on Zelensky's help, digging up dirt on the Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden, end quote. No. You can read for yourself what Trump said. Here's what Trump said, quote, "The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that, so whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great," end quote. Trump is asking Zelensky if he can get to the bottom of what happened. How is that an abuse of power? Back to Kelly, quote, "Through the Obama administration up to that phone call, the policy of the U.S. was militarily to support Ukraine in their defensive fight against the Russians," end quote. There's nothing in the phone call to suggest that that policy had changed. But we don't unconditionally support any country. Obama himself refused to give Ukraine lethal weapons. This was his choice as president. Back to Kelly, quote, "When the president said that continued support would be based on X, that essentially changed, and that's why that guy, Vindman, was most interested in," end quote. But Trump never said that continued support was based on X. Remember the hearings? Vindman said he felt that Trump was saying that. Trump never said that. Vindman was hallucinating. Quote, "When Vindman heard the president tell Zelensky he wanted to see the Biden family investigated, that was tantamount to hearing an illegal order," Kelly said. "We teach them don't follow illegal orders." What the hell? Kelly just said that Trump gave an illegal order to the president of Ukraine. Holy crap. This is total insanity. I'm stunned. Quote, "I'm an optimist most of the time, but I'm also a realist, and I never did think Kim would do anything other than play us for a while, and he did that fairly effectively," end quote. Really? What has North Korea gained from playing us? Kelly can't be this stupid. This has to be an act. Kelly has said that he had been fascinated, not necessarily in a good way, but fascinated as to what that election meant to our country, end quote. Yes, because Trump is totally inexplicable. Nothing about him makes sense, except for everything about him. Quote, "At times Wednesday, Kelly sounded like the anti-Trump. He said he did not believe the press is the enemy of the people, for example," end quote. Trump never said the press is the enemy of the people. He says the fake news media is the enemy of the people. Again, Kelly can't be this stupid and dishonest. These are the rantings of a Trump-hating high school girl. Quote, "Kelly described Putin as someone who is not necessarily a rational actor," end quote. More stupidity. Putin is 100% rational. Every single thing he says and does is designed to increase Putin's personal power. On February 7th, 2018, Trump presided over the worst military defeat the U.S. has ever inflicted on Russia. At Deir ez-Zor, Syria, he wiped out a 600-man Russian Mobile Detachment Combat Group. The Russians suffered 100% casualties. Every single man was killed or wounded. As a result, Putin stopped what he was doing, and he never retaliated. He's absolutely rational. If Kelly believes his own words, he is an incompetent imbecile. Quote, "When Trump announced his candidacy in 2015, he famously described some migrants coming into the U.S. from Mexico as rapists and criminals," end quote. Telling the truth is now wrong. Quote, "Kelly said that most migrants are merely looking for jobs. In fact, they're overwhelmingly good people. They're not all rapists and they're not all murderers," end quote. Trump never said they were. This is a straw man. It's how radical leftists argue. Quote, "Kelly faulted Trump for intervening in the case of Eddie Gallagher, a Navy SEAL who was convicted last year of posing with the corpse of an Islamic State fighter." End quote. Hold on to your hats. Quote, Trump reversed a Navy decision to oust Gallagher in a chain of events that led to the resignation of Navy Secretary Richard Spencer. End quote. Spencer was fired by Defense Secretary Mark Esper for trying to forge a secret deal with Trump. Under Obama, the military became used to total insubordination. Kelly thinks that insubordination is fine. Quote, the idea that the commander-in-chief intervened there, in my opinion, was exactly the wrong thing to do, Kelly said. Had I been there, I think I could have prevented it, end quote. Trump is the commander-in-chief. His subordinates must either obey, resign, or go to the brig. Now, I can't read Kelly's mind, but for whatever reason, he lied his ass off about everything. This explains a lot. I've studied American military history, and our major problem is insubordination. Leftists are far more insubordinate. If Kelly was involved in a plan to sabotage Trump, there's no doubt that Trump knew about it and neutralized it. But the best way to defeat your enemies is to let them think they're succeeding. People talk about the deep state. Trump has his own deep state. Trump's deep state is doing battle with the traditional deep state. So it's no contest. I always tell people to not take things at face value, so Kelly could be involved in strategic deceptions. At any rate, his speech was ridiculous. Withhold judgment. If he's lying to damage Trump, it won't be successful. The thing to remember is that the only thing Democrats have is people disparaging Trump. They have literally zero ammunition to bring him down.